Welcome everyone back to the KDLT Sports Bunker. It's the Extra Points video blog. He's our sports director and the host of Calling All Sports, Mark Ovenden. I'm weekend sports anchor Zach Borg. We blogged about a month ago when we did all of our previews. Now we're halfway through the high school season, which is kind of hard to believe, and we're about a third of the way through the college football season. Start off in the college ranks right now. Sioux Falls came in high expectations, a lot of people back. So far they're living up to it. They get maybe the biggest win since the program has moved up to Division II this past week, 35-31 over Duluth. You don't want to oversell it because on one hand, they lost one game last year and did not make the playoffs, but Duluth has been the perennial power along with Mankato. Now Duluth has 2 losses and USF is still on their way for their mission to make the playoffs.
They played a tremendous first half, built up a 35-14 lead, and kind of looked like they might just blow them right out of the map. But the thing that was impressive is that Duluth made a nice comeback, had a chance to win, and USF, even though they'd lost all the momentum on offense, came up with some big plays down near the end to really kind of seal the deal because Duluth had run out of timeouts and they passed for a couple of first downs and ended up sealing it for them. But I was really impressed. Without question, that's their biggest win since they've gone Division II. And this was a game they had to win. I don't think any of us care whether Duluth makes the playoffs or not.
But that probably knocks Duluth out because now they've got 2 losses.
Probably, but last year was a travesty. I got to believe there's going to be a team or two that has 2 losses that makes it. But they'd have to run the table even to have that chance.
Right.
So
I love the fact, too, the guy who makes the game-sealing play, that breakup, is a backup cornerback who comes in for an injured John Tidwell.
Yeah, made a great diving play on what looked like it was going to be the game-winning touchdown pass.
So they are looking to go 4-0. They're going to go up to Northern State and Aberdeen this week, who's off to a tough start, who's 0-3. But you go up to Aberdeen, you never know what could happen. Mankato did not beat them by very much just 2 weeks ago, and they just lost by 7 to Wayne. And again, for USF, the idea has to kind of be go undefeated, which is, that's a tough goal, but that's what they, obviously, if they'd done that a year ago, they'd been in the playoffs. A couple other surprising teams on the local front. Southwest Minnesota State is 3-0. They're actually going to play another 3-0 team this week in Minnesota State Moorhead, so those are 2 big surprises right now. And Dakota Wesleyan is 4-0, despite not having their all-time leading running back, Francois Barnell. They had to start all 4 games on the road. Granted, 2 of them were here in South Dakota in Madison and Vermilion. But they're 4-0. They're ranked. Dylan Turner's putting up huge numbers at quarterback. Their offense is getting something like 30, 40 a game.
He's been Player of the Week 2 weeks in a row in the GPAC. So, yeah, I think he's done. I think Ross has just done a great job with that team. They had high hopes going into this year, and their first game was at Dakota State, and that got them off to a really good start. It was a close game for a while, and then they just kind of blew the thing open, and they've been playing some really good football. You're right, Turner's really been good for them, and losing Francois to graduation. But, they had Josh Anders before that, and they seem to always have pretty good running backs, and they've had a good offense, but so far, so good. 4-0 is a terrific start for the Tigers. Also,
Northwestern 3-0 too. So that GPAC, that GPAC is looking very competitive once again. Of course, Morningside will be probably the cream of the crop.
They're ranked 1. Northwestern dropped from 9 to 10, and Dakota Wesleyan moved up to 17 this week. So, and by the way, USF moved up to 7th in the coaches poll, which is, again, that's their peers. That's the other coaches saying these guys are pretty good.
Yeah, they went from 12 to 7. So good for them. We're not going to touch too much on State and U because they have their conference openers next week.
About the
but I will say right now, USD goes into a bye week. They're 2-1. SDSU's 2-0. They're going to play Robert Morris this week. We expect them to win that one. I think both teams have been a little better than we each expected. Maybe especially in USD's case because they've gotten a road win and they looked very good against, granted, a non-scholarship team in Drake.
Non-scholarship team that almost won it.
And North Dakota,
We've had a little discussion about that in the newsroom, and they came back and almost beat the Fighting Sioux. So, not the
artists formerly known as the Fighting Sioux.
Well, whatever they are. UND. They're always going to be the Fighting Sioux. Sorry. Almost came back to beat them. I think it was 21-0, and the final score was 21-18.
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Something like that.
and this is the same team that USD beat 52-zip. So I think that's going to just that's a huge shot in the arm for Joe Glenn and his team. Winning out in California was one thing, but coming home and dominating a team. When's the last time they dominated somebody?
I think Joe said, I'm still on both other the road wins, the bigger one, because they hadn't won on the road since 2013.
True.
Now, I don't think Davis is going to exactly light the big sky on fire, but that one was a game that I think they very easily could have lost a year ago. They weren't even close in a lot of their road games, so
No.
they're both better. We're going to have more to talk about with them next week because they'll both open Valley play with a couple of big games. Moving our attention over to the high school ranks. As I said, we're halfway through the season now. Some of it's played out like we thought because Roosevelt and Madison appear to be the top teams in their classes.
Yep.
What's been the surprise for you maybe so far?
How about Sioux Falls Christian going 4-0?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a huge surprise, but they'd never won 4 games before. So the fact that they're 4-0 at this stage, I'm guessing they'll be 5-0 when they play Madison in 2 weeks. That could be huge. That's going to be a big matchup for them. That's the one that sticks out for me.
It's just funny too because I've shot a lot of their games just by chance, and I see the looks on the other team's faces, who for years have kind of been beating them up. To see that not only are they Sioux Falls Christian winning, they're dominating. I don't think they haven't even had a close game yet. And they just run that system where they run a lot of misdirection, but it's run, run, run. They've got a bunch of really good backs.
Yeah.
They turn it into a possession game because if you get down to them, even if they don't score, they're going to take 5 minutes of clock off, so it becomes a possession game.
Yeah, and in the playoffs, they've got the kind of team that's built to withstand the weather.
Yeah, especially playing at the Bob where the wind could be really crazy out in November.
Right, but if you're trying to throw the ball in those conditions, you're in trouble, and they don't.
Another team, I know they got beat. The score was a little deceiving. Lennox has been a bit surprising, too. The final score made it look like they got killed in Madison, but
Final
they were with
score
them.
was 54-21, but it was 26-21. I believe it was early in the fourth quarter, so I'd agree with that. Lennox is, I don't know how surprising. I think they're getting back to where they've been at times in the past. So, I love seeing that. I love seeing a lot of different teams having a shot at maybe winning a state title.
And in the AAA ranks, again, we've said it, Roosevelt looks like the class, but O'Gorman played them closely. Washington just beat O'Gorman, put 39 on O'Gorman. So that AAA group, all the Sioux Falls schools are looking, even Lincoln, who's down a little bit, they all look pretty competitive right now.
I think Roosevelt's the best by far. I really do. I think the only potential stumbling block for them would be Washington in the last game of the year. I think they've faced their toughest opponents to this point, and they've got almost their whole defense back. Plus, Jet Thune got to play last year. He's got some weapons around him. I just don't see anybody beating them.
Other news and notes before we check out that you'd like to tell the viewers about?
The hockey season starts on Saturday night. The Stampede opened their season in the regular season, believe it or not. Hockey, yes. We're talking USHL season starts for real, the regular season. And I don't know that I'm quite ready for that, but doesn't matter. It's the 26th at the Premier Center. And
defending Clark Cup champions, by the way.
That's pretty cool. I don't know if I was there for the opener last year when they opened the whole thing up, and the place was full. Absolutely full. I was also there for the Wiener Dog race night.
We know it'll be full when they do that again.
It was full that night. I'd be hard-pressed to think they're ever going to do that again. That's a lot of people, and there was a novelty last year of the new arena, but
for the Wiener Dog races, I could see that selling out year after year. But you're right about the novelty.
They should have a great crowd because they're going to welcome the Stanley Cup champions of the USHL back.
And a new coach as well. We're starting to find out more about them.
That's kind of weird. I mean, how often do you win a championship in your league
and then the next day the coach is
gone?
And
have a different coach.
And not only that, the coach is up north with what has been one of your biggest rivals. They've struggled the last few years in Fargo.
They won't struggle this year.
Yeah, I mean, Kerry, he's going to make deals if that team struggles to get them better, as he did with the Stampede. So we'll see what Coach Owens has in store for the Stampede.
And the Skyforce naming a new coach, which you announced on.
Yeah, Dan Craig, a Miami Heat assistant, who actually similar to Eric Spoelstra, who of course won NBA titles with the Heat, started as their video coordinator and just worked his way up through the system. I'd been the summer league coach here the last couple of years as well as an assistant. So
hey, I'm
maybe
a
the
video
Skyforce
coordinator.
coach.
Look at all this stuff on the walls. I mean, I could be the head coach.
You could be.
I could be. They
There's
should
some.
have asked.
There's some NBA teams that could frankly use you.
Yeah, I'm thinking so too. But I would never coach the Knicks.
Well, you got a good job right here, so we'll keep you here hopefully
right.
if you wouldn't mind staying. I wouldn't want to do all this by myself.
All right, I'll stick around for a little bit longer then.
That'll do it for the blog this week. We'll check back with you later.